Good evening and blessings out there, everybody. What's going on? It's your man, Rod Hickman, generational wealth builders, where poverty ends with us. Listen, super excited to come to you. Going to be a very, very short conversation we're going to have here today. This conversation is brought to you by Slits Malt Liquor. No, just kidding. On yesterday, we were having lunch with one of our agents, and we were talking about retirement. And June is actually Annuity Awareness Month. So we're really in June going to really be talking a lot more about retirement, how to make sure that your retirement is working for you, how you can make sure that again you are aware of some pitfalls that may just be waiting on you in retirement, right? So again, and so the conversation sort of went like this. So the young lady was saying, well, I have a pension through this particular organization, right? And I said, okay, well, how much is that pension going to pay you? Because initially what the conversation was, the conversation that I always have with people who are getting pensions is, do you know how much you are anticipated to receive on a monthly basis? And is that amount going to be enough to fund your lifestyle? Does that make sense? So it makes no sense, in my opinion, right? If you've worked somewhere 20, 30, 40 years and they're saying, hey, man, we're going to give you a pension of $1,000, right? While that is additional money, is it really helpful? Because there's what we call the future dollar value, and where you're trying to understand what the dollar value will be worth 15, 20 years from now, right? So these are questions that you need to ask. So question number one is, if you are going to receive a pension, how much am I going to receive if I retire in 20, 30, 40 years? You need to have a ballpark of what you're going to receive from that, right? Very, very key that you know that, because what we're finding is that people are getting to the point of retirement, and then they're finding out, man, you ain't going to give me nothing. My bills will still outrank or outweigh what will be coming in. Therefore, I'll still have to work, right? So that's what people are finding out. A lot of people are finding that out too late. So again, that's one of the main things you want to ask. That should be one of the very first questions that you ask. Okay, what will my pension be, right, when I retire at age X, Y, or Z, right? That's the first question. Once you find out that amount, another misconception that people have is that, oh, well, I'll be getting Social Security as well. Well, what a lot of people don't know about Social Security is that that Social Security, whether you retire early at 62 or you decide to wait till full retirement age, they're going to give you that money. However, what you must understand is that money will be taxed. So if you are in a situation where you are still working because, again, you found out that your pension is not enough, and you start drawing your Social Security benefits and you got another job working at Walmart, well, what you're going to find out is that you're going to actually potentially end up in a higher tax bracket. And that Social Security benefit is going to become taxable. And I want y'all to understand, they're not playing with that taxation, right? They are not playing. They can hit you for up to, I think, about 50%. Anywhere from 50 to about 80% is what they can hit you up for. So I don't want y'all to just take my word for it, right? Let me share with y'all what Kiplinger had to say about this, right? So let me get here. So as y'all should be able to see on my screen right about now, do you stop paying taxes on Social Security at a certain age? So this was a question somebody had because they felt like, well, hey, man, I've already paid my due, which it does make sense. But guess what? That is not necessarily the case because they are still going to make sure that, again, even if you hit full retirement age, all that talks about is the benefit amount that you will receive from Social Security. That's it. The full retirement age talks primarily about what you will receive based on the age that you retire. So let me see if I can get here. I know I had it somewhere. Give me just a second. Either way, can't find it. But what I want y'all to understand right here, please read this part right here. What it says is whether you're 62 or 82, the same taxability rules apply to you. So that taxation does not depend on your age, but rather your income. And look, they're saying whether you're 62 or 82, it applies. It's Social Security is your only income, you're unlikely to be taxed on those benefits. Well, guess what? If Social Security is your only income, you're likely to be poor, right? You're likely to really, really be poor. However, notice this, up to 85% of your benefits could be taxed if you have additional income sources. Wow. So it's almost like they're kind of giving you an either or. They're like, hey, man, if you start taking this money that you've paid into for decades, right? You paid into this pot for decades. But if you touch this money, as long as you're poor, right? Meaning you're not making more than $25,000 a year as a single person and over $32,000 for those married, right? If you make over that amount of money, then you could be taxed. How goofy is that? The answer is that's super duper goofy. But here's the problem. People are not preparing for that. And this is why so many people now are having to come out of retirement. This is why so many people who want to retire are now finding themselves that they cannot retire. And I don't want that to be you. And that's why this month is Annuity Awareness Month. And we want you to know about an annuity. Why do we want you to know about an annuity? Again, whether or not you want to get Social Security or not, that is your choice. But here's my primary concern for each one of you, right? My primary concern is that you have enough money, whereas whether you want to take that Social Security or not, it's not going to make or break you, right? It's not going to make or break you. Now, if you ask Rod, my personal opinion, I'm taking mine. I'll pay the taxes on the back end, but I want mine because I paid into it. I'll use that to do something else or whatever the case may be. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, right? But again, I want you to understand that you need to be aware of this, right? And a lot of people don't talk about this because if I could just be honest, what I'm finding out, a lot of people don't even know what retirement looks like. A lot of people, if we ask you, what does retirement look like? The main thing they say is, well, I'm not working. Okay, but what are you doing? What does retirement look like now? Again, there are some people who can paint me a very lovely picture, and I'm like, please take me with you when you retire, right? But by and large, the majority of people do not know and do not have a clue as to what retirement really is. So again, that's something else I want to talk to you about very quickly. You need to know what retirement looks like for you. You need to sit down and think about, what is retirement going to look like for me, right? Am I going to travel the road? Am I going to just volunteer? What am I going to do when I say, that's it, I'm done? When I throw my hands up and say, I ain't working for nobody else no more, what does that look like for you, right? That's how you make sure that you're locked in for retirement. I'm telling you, some people have some great, they're like, I'm going to get me an RV. I know some people that are like, I got campers and we're going to live that camper life. We're going to camp back and forth these United States for the rest of our life. And again, I'm just like, count them out. That's wonderful because those are the people that prepared. But a lot of the time, people who have not prepared can't tell me what it is they're going to do for retirement. So I want to put that out there. Please, people, take some time. Think about what you actually want to do with retirement. And I want to challenge you real quick. Don't think about money. Don't think about, well, I don't have this amount of money. I only have that amount of money. I want you to think about what you actually want to do. and plan for doing that. All right. Well, look, that's my time today. I told you I was keeping it short. Got some other meetings I got to run to, but I wanted to get on and just say that to you all. Please, please, please take a look at your Social Security, right? Ask yourself, is it worth it? Because for some people, they're going to get a rude awakening at the worst time that they can. The worst time to find out that something is not what you thought it was is when you're smack dab in the middle of it, right? All right, that's my time. I'm Rod Hickman, Generational Wealth Builders, where poverty ends with us. Look, we're so thankful we hit a major milestone. More is coming out. We have some major announcements that we're going to make for the Generational Wealth Builders family. We have new agents popping out left and right. So again, we're super excited about them. Going to celebrate them here really, really soon. But I just want y'all to know, again, we are a trusted resource for you and for your family to achieve your goals and dreams. And we want to be able to help you actually be able to know that, right? All right. So with that being said, until next time, remember, knowledge is not a power until it is applied. You can have an 18-wheeler that's gassed up, ready to go. But if you don't apply the clutch, put it in gear, it's not going anywhere, just like with this knowledge that I just shared with you. So please make sure you put it in gear. And until next time, take care. God bless. Bye-bye, bye-bye, and bye-bye.